But then once I was reading it, I was like eating it up. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Chell and this is Chella Reads a Bit. Long time no sit down video. I know, I've just been slacking on these kinds of videos. If you hear any noises or anything or a fan, it's because one, Chibi is deciding now he wants to run around, and two, he has a fan that's on all the time, so try to ignore those. But yes, it's been a bit since I've done a sit down video. I've really just been doing vlogs. They're just easier to do. Setting up the camera and everything is just a lot of work. But I'm gonna try to do more sit down videos as best as I can, but vlogs really are just easier, especially right now. But before we get into today's video, if you do enjoy my videos, please feel free to give a like and subscribe. I would love to have you here. It really makes my day. It really makes Chibi's day, and we love seeing you here. There he goes. Anyways, so today, as you can tell from the title of the video and the thumbnail, today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Today is July 8th, so, you know, it's not June or anything, so it's not technically, but, you know, I'm a little late to doing this. Forgive me. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. So, I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Sorry, I don't remember who started it. A bunch of creators are doing it. But all the credit to whoever did start, and I did not start this. No credit to me at all. I am just one of the many doing it. Chibi Boy is just being crazy right now. But anywho, let's just get into the mid-year book freakout tag. I try my best to think of some, you know, answers to these questions, but some were harder than others. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone at the questions. Also, if you see me looking around, it's because I'm also looking at what Chibi Boy is doing. But let's get into the questions. So, number one is, best book you've read so far in 2023? Nobody. He loves trying to get on the couch. Anywho. Best book I've read in 2023. In that, I couldn't choose between a few books. I'm not going to just say one. I do have a few for this one because I couldn't just choose one of them. So the best books I've read so far this year. Some of these I do have physically, but I'm not going to be holding them up because one, that's too much work. Two, that's a lot to put back. That's a mess that I don't want to clean up. So I'm just going to pop a picture up on the screen somewhere for the books that I'm talking about. So one is Kami-sama Kiss. I read the whole manga series this year, except for the first one. I technically read that in December, but we're not gonna separate that. But I did read all of Kami-sama Kiss, loved it, amazing series, totally recommend. Is there issues with it? Of course. Is there a lot of cringy things? Of course. Is there a lot of maybe problematic things? We could argue that. You could argue, but I really loved it. I loved watching the anime. That's where I started. That's where I really fell in love with it. So, if you don't know what Kami-sama Kiss is, it's about Nanami Momozono, whose father pretty much has a bunch of debt and he runs away, and she loses the apartment, she has nowhere to stay, and she meets this guy who then she kind of saves him from this dog, and he gives her his shrine. That's just, I'm not going to go into the synopsis of every book, but I'm just wanted to go into that one. So I really love that manga. I really love the anime. There's a lot more in the manga than the anime because they stopped after the second season, but there's a lot more to it than that. So I totally recommend it if you like slice of life, cutesy kind of manga. Totally recommend. Loved it. Another one that I would say is one that I literally just finished yesterday as of filming this. I finished Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, the first book in the Skyward series, and oh my gosh, did I love this book. I was very surprised because it is YA and it is a sci-fi. I don't read that much sci-fi. I do want to try to get more into it, but, you know, I'm very nervous, especially that it's, like, also a lot of people love this series, and I do own the first three. I don't have the bind-up of the novellas or anything, but I will read those and everything. But I was nervous, but I rolled this. I do weekly vlogs, if you don't know. If you don't, check them out. But I do weekly vlogs, and one of the vlogs was we were going to Singapore, so I did 3 rolls, and Skyward ended up being one of them. And I didn't get to it on that trip, so I've been trying to catch up on those. And I finally got to Skyward, and I just finished it, and oh my god, I loved it. Like, obviously it's not like it is like outstanding in the way it's written or the concept of the story, but I was hooked into the writing. I think Brandon Sanderson really had some good lines that really made me feel things, and I just loved it. I'm not going to go too much into the depth of my feelings for this book. You'll hear that in my vlog when it comes out, because it's for this week's vlog, so it's not out yet. By the time you're watching this, it might already be out, depending on when I decide it's going to come in the lineup of videos. Watch out for that vlog, and if it's out, I'll link it for my thoughts on Skyward. Loved it. I'm not caught up on my call pile. I'm not even caught up on my bullet journal, so I need to do that. So I don't have any ratings for these as of right now, except for Kami-sama Kiss, because that's like when I stopped, which was in January, might have just had. But a lot of these I don't have star ratings for, because I need to do my call pile, and I'm not caught up, so bear with me. But Skyward, I really loved it. Then another one that I read for a vlog, in my weekly vlogs, was The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I ended up really loving that. Again, it's a YA, but I love the Korean mythology. It just hit me in a way that I wasn't expecting. I cried at the end. It was beautiful. Obviously, it's not, some things like were disjointed for me and things were predictable, but it made me feel things, and I totally recommend. And then Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which was a fairy book. It's by Heather Fawcett. I totally enjoyed this. It was exactly what I needed. It is exactly the fairy story that I wanted. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I loved it. Question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2023. So a lot of the sequels that I've read this year are rereads. Like I reread The Novel of the Others. I'm rereading that right now. So it's a reread, so I don't want that doesn't really count. I don't want that to count in this. So the only one I could really go for was Kami-sama Kiss, which I did love. It was obviously the best sequel that I've read. That wasn't a reread. I love that manga series. So obviously that would be my answer for this question, because I haven't really read many sequels yet that aren't rereads. Number 3 is a new release you haven't read yet but want to. So if you know anything about me, I try to mention this all the time because I'm not good at new releases. I'm not good at things that are coming out unless it's like something a booktuber is talking a lot about and I know that I'm interested. If it's not, then it just goes over my head. So the only time I know what new release is happening is when I get the fairy loot, which I only get the adult fairy loot. So the YA ones I don't really pay attention to. But a new release that I do have that I want to read, well, there's 2 of them. I'm not 100% sure on how excited I am for both of them, but one is The Curse of the Saints, which came in the adult fairy loot that I got in May. So I have that. It looks interesting from what I read at the synopsis. And another one would be The Foxglove King, but also it's because the Foxglove King fairy loot edition is very beautiful and I just want to read it. But also sounds like a good, interesting story. So those 2, I would take that with a grain of salt because I'm not really up to date with new releases. So those are the 2 that I guess I would say. I mean, you could also say Amina, The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. I'm kind of interested in that. The only thing is I'm not good with both. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So I just saw that Brandon Sanderson, Brandy Sandy, hit the 4th book in the Skyward series is coming out, Defiant. So obviously, after reading Skyward, I'm even more excited for the 4th book to come out, even though I haven't read the 2nd or 3rd. I'm excited. Regardless of those 2 books, I'm still excited. I really want to get the UK paperback. I'm really hoping it's in the big paperback because that's the ones I have. I am in Thailand, so a lot of the times they do have the UK editions. If not, I can find a way to get it, but definitely looking forward to that. I think it's coming out November of this year, so I'm very excited for that. So I'm very lucky that was happening, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't have anything for this question. Number 5, biggest disappointment. So this one was hard because, I mean, if I don't like a book, I'm not really, it's not that big a deal. I didn't really go into certain books with the expectation that I was going to love them. Some of them I did know that I wasn't sure about. So the only one I guess I just put down because I'm like, I was very, was The Maid by Nita Prose. My boyfriend had chosen that for me last year in October to read because I wanted to read spooky and thrillers or whatever kind of books for the month, but then things happened and that I didn't finish it. So I did roll it for one of my weekly vlogs, and I did read it, and I didn't like it. I started out semi enjoying it, but then as time went on, I was just like really not into it. I really did not care. I was not a fan. So I ended the book really not liking it. I was really disappointed because it had a lot of promise for me, but I just didn't like the execution. I didn't like how I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. Number 6 is Biggest Surprise, and I think my biggest surprise, I was surprised to really enjoy The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea because it was a YA, and I was surprised to enjoy Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies because I wasn't sure how I was gonna enjoy the writing. But the biggest surprise would be Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, because again, it's YA and it's a sci-fi, and this would have been only the second Brandon Sanderson book that I've read. I read the first book in the Mistborn series, The Final Empire, and I had a little bit of issue with the beginning trying to get into it, but then I fell in love with it. By the end, I was just like, this is chef's kiss. But I still was nervous because it was my second Brandon Sanderson, and it's not a part of the Cosmere, so I was like really nervous. But this book, oh my god, it had me in a chokehold. I'm just like, I could put it down and not want to pick it back up, but not because of the book, because I just wanted to do other things. But then once I was reading and I was like eating it up. Biggest surprise. I really love this book. I cannot even tell you how much I love this book. Number 7 is favorite new author, whether it be a debut or new to me author. This one was hard because I wouldn't call these my favorite. I just really enjoyed the books that I read from them. They're new to me. I assume they have other books, but they're new to me. I don't know about Axio. They might have other books, but I'm not sure. But they're new to me. I wouldn't say they're my favorite because I've only read one book. And I don't like to just be like, oh, you're my new favorite author based on one book. But I really enjoy these books, so they're not technically I would not call them my favorite, but I really enjoy these new authors. And that would be Heather Fawcett, who wrote Emily Wilde's Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Really enjoyed that book. I really am looking forward to maybe picking up another book by them. But again, I wouldn't call them my favorite because I haven't read anything else. And then the second would be Axio, who is the person who wrote The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. Again, would love to pick up another book by them if they have it, or whenever they do come out with something. But again, I'm not going to call them my favorite yet because they're new to me. I don't know yet. They can't be a favorite if I haven't read anything else and loved it too. But I can see why people, I'm not saying that people can't do that. It's just not easy for me to do. I don't like, I'm just not my favorite. I'm just not going to call it my favorite yet. Number 8 is newest fictional crush. I don't got one. I don't know. I don't really get a crush on fictional people. Oh, on fiction, book characters. So I don't really have one. So number 8, I don't got one. I don't have a fictional crush. Number 9, newest favorite character, Mbot. I'm not gonna say who Mbot is, where he comes from, I won't say anything about him because I feel like it would be spoilery. But Mbot, if you know, you know. I love Mbot. He is a great character. Again, I'm not crushing on Mbot. He is just a new favorite character. He was hilarious. Or whatever they want to go by. They were hilarious. They just added a comedic element to the book that was just, I really enjoyed. And oh my god, had me in the feels. So Mbot. So I don't know if I feel like it sounds like I'm saying N, but it's Mbot. Number 10, book that made you cry. So that one, I could have chosen a few. One of them was The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. The ending had me just in my feels. It connected with me in a way that I, again, wasn't expecting. I literally just connected with the character, and it wasn't even in the same way, but it was like similar, like the thing that they were talking about and what they were trying to get across of like their situation, and like the feeling that they were going through and what was happening, I just related to in a way, maybe not like 100% the same, but like in a way I could take something from it. And I just bawled my eyes out because I was like, girl, oh my god, I feel seen right now. It made me cry. Skyward did have me tearing up at certain points because it was just getting me in my feels and just some things that were said. But it didn't make me cry. But The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, tears. Tears, 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 tears. Number 11 is a book that made me happy. That would be Kami-sama Kiss. I love just jumping back into that world because obviously I watched the anime. They haven't come out with a third season. Don't know if they ever will. So I was happy to read those, and I was just living the life reading those. It made me so happy. I was just, when I tell you I gave all of them 5 stars, I gave all of them 5 stars. Do they all deserve 5 stars? Like critically, probably not. But for me, 5 stars. You cannot, you can't change my mind. Number 12 is the most beautiful book that I've bought so far this year. And I would have to say the Fairy Loot editions of Lunar Chronicles. Obviously, it's more than one book. It's all 4 books. It doesn't include the novella bind-up, nor does it include the novella about Levana, Ferris, but it has the 4 main books, and I love them. They're beautiful. I will link the vlog in which I show them off in. They're just amazing. I love them. I did order the Raven Cycle ones, but they haven't come yet. So they might be like evenly matched, but as of right now, it's the Lunar Chronicles set that I got from Fairy Loot. Number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And honestly, I would have to say whatever's on my TBR is what I want to be able to read by the end of the year. I'm not really hard pressed on that. Like, I don't really have a goal that I have to read a certain book or certain books by the end of the year. It's more like I would just want to reach my goal on Goodreads, which I know is like very polarizing, like the goal on Goodreads, like how people feel about it. I enjoy it because it's like helps me be motivated to read. I enjoy seeing being either ahead or like seeing that I'm right now behind by 2 books, so it's like, oh, that makes me really want to read more books. So I enjoy doing the Goodreads goal. You don't have to. That is totally up to you, and that's totally valid. I totally understand why. But for me, I really enjoy the Goodreads goal. So it's more about the number of books that I want to read than certain books that I want to get read. Like, obviously, I want to read all of the books that I have. And then all the books that I have on my TBR. Like, but I don't really have a goal of what books I have to read by the end of the year. I'm more than happy to roll them over into the next year. So I really don't have an answer because all of the books I would love to read, but I don't have to. Because I do like having books available for me to read on my TBR, especially since I'm not able to buy a bunch of books for like physically, so I don't want to run out of those. Because I like reading on my Kindle and everything, but I prefer physical books. But so I really don't have an answer for this. Pretty much whatever I read and whatever's on my TBR. But those are all the questions on the mid-year book forget tag. Again, I forget who created it and I can't seem to find it. If any of you know, please let me know. But all the credit to that person. I don't take any credit. I don't give any credit to the creators that I've seen if they're not the creator of this tag. I appreciate whoever did create it, and I hope you enjoy the video. Sorry if my answers are all over the place or very long-winded. I tend to ramble. I hope you enjoy the video regardless. If you do enjoy my videos, please feel free to give a like and subscribe. I would love to have you here. It really makes my day. It really makes Chibi's day. And I love seeing you here. And I hope you are having a good reading year and not freaking out about it. But I'll see you in my next video. Bye.